For years, Meta has been going through an identity crisis. From Cambridge Analytica to the disastrous metaverse flop, Zuckerberg has been feeling the pressure. He desperately wants to expand beyond Meta's social media roots, but every move seems to end in tragedy. Then came generative AI. Zuckerberg saw a chance to prove Meta could own the next tech frontier, and he seemed like a hero when he released open source AI to the world. But with AI spending expected to hit $145 billion in 2026, investors started asking when it would pay off. As the war for talent and compute heats up, Zuckerberg has been forced into another corner. How did Meta's OpenAI strategy turn from its biggest advantage into a liability? And why is Zuckerberg now moving towards the exact closed-source race he once tried to avoid? Let's get right into it. In late 2022, ChatGPT became the consumer breakout moment for AI. It blew up seemingly overnight and grew to millions of users just 5 days after launch. But quickly, users noticed something. Anyone could use ChatGPT, but no one could inspect how it really worked. Although you could use its API, the training data and underlying processes remained a mystery to the public. With this in mind, Zuckerberg saw an opportunity. Although mostly known for its social media products, Meta already had its own world-class AI lab staffed by some of the best computer scientists in the world. The Fundamental AI Research Lab, or FAIR, was headed by computer scientist Yann LeCun. Under his leadership, the division had a deep, open research culture and consistently published groundbreaking papers. Then, in February 2023, Meta released Llama. Llama managed to beat GPT-3 on many benchmarks despite being much smaller. But the real surprise was that Llama was released with a community license. This meant that developers could modify the model, run it locally, or build their own tools on top of it. Developers realized that API calls to closed-source models weren't the only option if they wanted to access a cutting-edge AI. But why would Meta give away its most powerful AI model for free? Meta doesn't need to make money from its AI models in the same way that OpenAI or Anthropic do. Altman and his investors need ChatGPT to directly generate revenue through user subscriptions and enterprise contracts. Meanwhile, Meta already generates massive profits from its ad platform and social media business. If Llama brought more users to Meta's other products, then Zuckerberg was happy. In hindsight, releasing Llama as an open model was a genius move for a few reasons. Meta didn't need to sell subscriptions like OpenAI. By releasing Llama more openly, Meta could weaken closed-source competitors, attract developers, and let the outside world build the apps for them. But soon, Meta was being pressured from both sides. Chinese companies like DeepSeek began offering competitive, cheaper, open-source models, and closed-source labs continued to release stronger models. Meta's open strategy only worked if Llama remained good enough that developers kept building around it. Once the best open models could come from DeepSeek, Minstrel, or anyone else, Meta's free distribution strategy became much harder to defend. Meta had distribution power through its family of apps, but Llama was falling behind the competition. Then came Llama 4. In April 2025, Meta released Llama 4, the newest version of its AI. It crushed public benchmarks, and it looked like Meta had regained its advantage. But soon, developers noticed something. Users could still fine-tune Llama 4 for their tasks, but could no longer see the underlying code or training data. Older models were also released with an in-depth research paper detailing everything about the model, but Llama 4 didn't have this either. Then, rumors began surfacing that Meta was cheating on public AI benchmarks. The company allegedly used experimental models specifically trained on benchmark questions just to score higher than the competitors. Developers claimed that Llama 4 performed noticeably worse than other models available at the time. Users were underwhelmed with Llama 4, and Zuckerberg decided that something had to be done. Just 2 months after the release of Llama 4, Zuckerberg made a huge move. In June of 2025, Meta announced that they had taken a 49% stake in Scale AI for a staggering $14 billion. Scale AI focuses on turning raw data into high-quality datasets used for training large language models. But the target wasn't just Scale's business. It was their CEO, a 28-year-old tech entrepreneur named Alexander Wang. Right after the deal, Wang joined Meta and became the head of its new push into superintelligence. But soon, tensions rose between Wang and the head of Meta's AI division, Yann LeCun. It's easy to see why this happened. LeCun joined Meta in 2013 and had spent over a decade building FAIR into a world-class research lab with academics from around the globe. LeCun believed in a long-term, science-first approach to AI. He also believed that LLMs are a dead end in the search for artificial general intelligence. Meanwhile, Wang dropped out of MIT to run Scale AI and was more of an operator than an academic. He planned to transform FAIR from a research hub into a fast-moving, innovative product lab. Wang wanted to live up to Facebook's old motto, move fast and break things. It's no wonder why Wang and LeCun didn't get along. From LeCun's perspective, this had to feel like a hostile takeover of the culture he spent more than a decade building. With Wang in charge, Meta went on a hiring spree. They lured in scientists from top labs with eye-watering salaries. According to Sam Altman, Meta offered signing bonuses as high as $100 million to poach OpenAI researchers. Meanwhile, Zuckerberg reorganized FAIR and renamed it Meta Superintelligence Labs. Wang was put in charge, and the company began focusing on developing top-tier models and agents, and pushing for commercialization. Meanwhile, Yann LeCun was further disillusioned with Meta. He believed that LLMs were useful, but lacked reasoning and long-term planning. Here's what he had to say.
We are not going to get to human-level AI by just scaling up LLMs. This is just not going to happen, okay?
That's your perspective.
There's no way, okay? Absolutely no way. And whatever you can hear from some of my more adventurous colleagues, it's not going to happen within the next 2 years. There's absolutely no way in hell.
LeCun was watching his elite research lab be disassembled right in front of him, and couldn't stand it anymore. In November 2025, LeCun officially resigned from Meta. Now, with top talent and a massive budget, Zuckerberg went all in. One of Meta's key advantages over new AI labs is its massive product ecosystem. Meta controls Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Meta Glasses, and many other products. Even if they didn't produce the best AI on the market, they could still have the most used model through distribution. So Zuckerberg told engineers to integrate AI into almost every product, including Instagram search, WhatsApp chats, and creator tools. Meta didn't need new users to directly seek out its AI, they wanted to use AI to keep users on its platform for longer. But there was a major problem. This distribution can force people to see Meta AI, but it cannot force users or developers to prefer it. And it looks like Meta employees aren't even using the company's AI. Recently, it was leaked that a Meta employee created an internal leaderboard to rank engineers on the number of AI tokens they used. The trend was called token maxing, and the winner was dubbed the Token Legend. But the craziest thing was its name. The leaderboard was called Claudenomics. So, even internal Meta employees are opting to spend money on Claude code rather than use their company's own AI. That speaks volumes. While his employees were busy using a competing AI, Zuckerberg planned massive data center buildouts across the country. The company plans to spend up to $145 billion on CapEx in 2026, with the majority of this going towards data centers. But the markets have been growing impatient with Meta's heavy spending. After Zuckerberg burned through $80 billion on the failed metaverse, investors have been very wary of the CEO's bold claims. And that's what made Meta's newest AI so important. In April 2026, Meta released the flagship model for their new AI family, Muse Spark. Meta claims the model is multimodal, has strong agentic capabilities, and can even help users with health-related questions. Muse Spark also marked a major shift in distribution. Instead of releasing weights the way they had with Llama, Meta positioned Muse Spark more like a closed model, with developer access expected through an API. With Llama, Meta was trying to commoditize the model layer. With Muse Spark, Meta is trying to monetize and own it. So, Meta is now competing directly with ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini. Meta is in a weird spot. They can't commit to being an open source hero, a hyperscaler, or a closed source lab. It's unclear if Meta has the power and talent to compete directly with OpenAI and Anthropic, or if Zuckerberg is joining the closed source AI race far too late. If Muse Spark doesn't become a model that users actually choose, the metaverse flop might just be the least of Meta's problems. But while Meta is trying to decide what kind of AI company it wants to be, Anthropic has made a very different bet, one that seems to be working. So if you want to see why Claude is winning the AI race, click the video on screen.